has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the burgundy, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fact and check it up should be, along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, the founder of the Aisle Seat podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, the Put It With the Golf guru, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia's running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a misery Monday, free agency style in the NFL. We got a double shot with Morency this very hour from British Columbia. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, your boy, Smiley Kaufman with Carver High. And then in the coup de grace as well, a double shot with Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider on SportsGrid. What a day for legal tampering, Carver High. It is running rampant like the Four Horsemen all day long in the NFL with free agency deals popping like Orville Redenbacher.
Yes, it is. Happy Monday. It's an extremely busy Monday. There's a lot going on. The dog days of February are over, that's for sure. Legal tampering in the NFL beginning today. We've got tons of college rack that we have to get to as well, but let's start with this. So there's a bunch of deals that have come down since noon when legal tampering was beginning. But we'll start with the ones at the quarterback position because those are the ones that everybody gets all excited for. And that includes Justin Fields, who was with you last year in Pittsburgh. He goes to the Jets, 2-year deal worth $40 million, $30 million guaranteed for Fields in New York. Sam Darnold, Seattle, 3 years, just over $100 million for him. Several other things that we'll get to as we move along, but the two quarterbacks that signed within the last hour here, we'll get started with that.
Well, it's pretty obvious to me that, let's start with the Steelers, that they couldn't get a deal done with Justin Fields last night because they knew that today at noon he was going to be free to go wherever he wanted, and he proved that that's what he was going to do because they obviously didn't give him what he wanted in Pittsburgh. And let's just be real here for a second. Did they ever believe in him, Mike? I don't think they did because they played him 6 games and then they benched his ass for the remainder of the year for that old washed-up Russell Wilson. And I think Fields is way more exciting than Wilson. Now all that's left are the Giants and Steelers for quarterback jobs, and the Steelers will either sign Aaron Rodgers or they'll re-sign Russell Wilson, and that'll be that. And I think the loser of that will go to the Giants. And then if that fails, the Giants will trade in the draft to get one of those quarterbacks that are available, the 3 or so that are decent enough to be picked early in that draft, meaning Dart, Sanders, or Ward, right? Like, so that's simple. Nobody wants Jacoby Brissett. And I've heard all this other stuff about a famous Jameis. I don't believe in him either, for that matter. Now, obviously, I think that Rodgers was to blame for everything for the Jets. They blamed him for everything. Meanwhile, he put up normal numbers. They just lost every game that they played because everybody else stunk so bad and their defense was so absolutely pathetic. But they blamed Aaron Rodgers. Now, you give Aaron Rodgers, Pickens, and Metcalf, who they got this weekend for 5 years and $150 million, and I think that guy could throw the ball to them all day on Sundays. Those are 2 great receivers. And let's face facts, he started throwing to Adams again with the Jets, and it was real easy. When he's got good receivers, he can still light it up. So if they can sign him, go for it. I would like, to be honest, nothing more than to see him rather than Russell Wilson, who I think is slower than molasses. When he's in trouble in the pocket, he goes down like a French hooker. And I'm done hearing anything else about it. It's real simple. We already saw his body of work and it sucked. He was terrible in December, as bad as the rest of them. They were all terrible. The Steelers in December sucked like no other at a time when you can't suck, right? So, Fields left. See you later. They got to make a deal. And I think at this point, for me, watching it, it's kind of embarrassing. I think the Steelers are embarrassing. The way they're handling this is embarrassing. It really is.
Well, and the crazy part is like you say, they made this massive deal last night to get DK Metcalf from Seattle, give up a second-round pick for him. They give him $30 million a year for the next 5 years. They've got Pickens and Metcalf. It seems like it would be a pretty desirable situation for someone to want to throw the football in, right? I mean, you're talking about two guys who are going to go and get it. If looking at the field right now, I think the best option for the Steelers is to go with Rodgers for 1 year and draft somebody, whether it's in that first round or second, and make sure Rodgers knows, listen, we got a kid. This is a 1-year deal, and if you're 5-7, in November, there's a chance we're going to go to the kid. I think that's what you have to do. I think that's the best play for the Steelers right now, is that route.
And I think he has to realize, I think you're right, he has to realize where he's at in his life and in his career. That's who he is. He's the bridges of Navarone. I mean, he is a bridge too far. That's it. He's a bridge quarterback now. That's all he is. His days of being the MVP and all the rest are over. But I still think he could hook up with them. And, I already saw Wilson. I just can't get over, Mike, the month of December. I can't get over what I watched week after week after week after week. Christmas Day was an abortion. January 5th it went into January. January 5th, I went to the game. It was 5 below, and he was pathetic. I mean, he literally couldn't get a first down the whole game against the Bengals. He's awful. Like, the proof's in the pudding. Like, who watched that guy and wants him back? Like, I'd rather have an ex-wife come back. I mean, honestly, this guy's so awful. Who didn't see that he's done?
Can't have
he's
it.
Finished. I mean, Rodgers still can throw the ball. And to great receivers, I think he can still do it. And he knows he can do it. And I think Wilson just thinks he can do it.
That's it. So lots of NFL today. Massive deals for Josh Allen. Myles Garrett, I guess, didn't want to leave Cleveland so bad. If you get paid $40 million a year, I guess suddenly he's all right with staying in Cleveland, getting all that money. He wanted out so badly. We'll do that. We got tons of college rack today. I mean, it's championship week. The regular season's over. Selection Sunday, this coming Sunday. I got brackets for all the big conferences. I got title games tonight. I got other games tonight. What a huge week of college rack we have ahead of us here on C2C.
I mean, it's incredible. I thought, Saturday and Sunday were great. I think tonight's great. There's huge games. There's a lot riding on these games tonight, without a doubt. There's bids. And then there's, semis and everything else going on in some of these conferences. And then by Wednesday, all the heavyweights are going full tilt. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then there's only a couple that finish up Sunday. And then Selection Sunday happens at whatever it is, 6:30 Eastern.
Yep. So we'll do that. I've got NBA today. LeBron hurt Saturday night in that Lakers-Celtic game. I've got some good finishes from last night, including that Kawhi winner for the Clippers. So we have all that. Just tons of baseball news. Bad news. You talk about a bad weekend for the Yankees. Cole finished. Stanton talking about surgery. That'll finish his year.
Yeah, I don't think
real
that
big for them.
Frankly, I can't believe that at his age that Garrett Cole will ever matter again in Major League Baseball if he has Tommy John surgery. And then I think Stanton having both elbows operated on is the end of him as well. That's the end of him.
We're going to play a little game of true or false, fantasy or reality is what we used to call it. But instead, we're going to play a little game of buy or sell. Rafael Devers had a press conference and basically said, I ain't moving off third base. I'm a third baseman. I won't play DH. I won't play anywhere else. Alex Bregman was just signed, so how's this going to work out? Buy or sell, George? Devers will start more games at third than Bregman this season. Is that a buy or sell?
Yeah, Devers is a horrific third baseman. All right, he's bad. I think he ranks dead last in the league here. I think Cora is going to talk with Devers. Apparently, they are close. He said, listen, you got to move, buddy. I'm sorry. You got to move. We're a better team with Bregman at third.
I think he's dug in here, man. I don't know. I know that there was a report a few days ago that they were talking about it and, sort of working things out. But I think in the end, cooler heads will prevail. But I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to say that Devers starts like 90 games at third base this season. And I think that'll probably be the compromise here. I think that Bregman will start some. Devers will start some. Bregman's still a Gold Glove third baseman at this stage of his career. It doesn't really add up. The other thing that happened is over the course of Big Papi's career, he moved off first base. He went to DH. And Big Papi was Devers, right? I mean, pretty similar in stature there. But Devers just seems to be really dug in on this. I think if it was going to happen, George, we would know by now. And it hasn't. We just heard that it may. So I am going to buy. I don't think Devers plays 150 at third base or even 140 or anything like that. But I do think he plays more than Bregman at third. I think that they have a compromise when they play both.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 Eastern on our TV and radio outlets. And you can catch Morency on Coast to Coast every day right here from Vancouver. And it's been going off since, 9 a.m. your time out there. The free agency is running wild. And I want to get your reaction to, I guess, for starters, the Darnold and Fields deals with the Seahawks and Jets, respectively.
Well, it's pretty clear that the coach McDonald in Seattle didn't like the roster that he had, right? He didn't, he got there. He inherited Geno Smith. He inherited the DK Metcalf situation. And now you look at the end of the line for Tyler Lockett. I give credit to Seattle for at least having a plan, Scott, right? A lot of people wondered, all right, what are they going to do next? Sort of like the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are they going to do next? It looked like Seattle already had that plan in store. We're going to trade Geno Smith. We're going to sign Sam Darnold. Does it make them any better, though, Scott? Like, really? I get that people love to talk about this stuff, and any time that a player changes teams, but you got to ask yourself, are the Raiders better now with Geno Smith than they were before? Not really. All you need to know is the Raiders' odds, guys, before they signed Geno Smith were 100-1 to win the Super Bowl. The Raiders' odds now to win the Super Bowl, 100-1. It didn't change, it didn't even, cause a ripple, nothing. Didn't move an inch. Seattle, let's see what they do moving forward, Scott. I don't think anybody's really done anything to make them better. Besides, you've got to love bringing in DK Metcalf. Yet, you bring in DK Metcalf, you don't have a quarterback. And, Scott, I got to believe it's going to be Russell Wilson at this point, right? I mean, would you rather bring in Aaron Rodgers in his first year of this system and go through all of this type of stuff? I think Rodgers would be less dramatic, and I don't think he would try to call as many shots or be in his control as he was with the New York Jets, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Scott. But I would go back to Wilson instead of Rodgers, personally. He was already there for a year. Now he actually has somebody to work with. Let's be real, Scott. You and I talked about this with the Steelers. They didn't have skill position players. You got Pickens, who's pretty good, but he's a head case. He's not a guy that you're going to rely on to be a number one guy. He's still young. He's still learning the league. So you bring in Metcalf right now. You got to get yourself a running back. I like the aggression of the Steelers, but the uncertainty at quarterback is what baffles me the whole time. Well, we'll bring back Fields or Wilson. Like, do they have a plan? Do they know who they want? Right? That's my question with them. And like you said, it looks like it's going to be either Wilson or Rodgers, but it's a lot of just musical chairs, Scott. It doesn't really make teams better. People like to talk about this stuff, but does it make them better? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. What did you think of the extension they gave Allen in Buffalo, and they just got him Palmer a few minutes ago, another receiver?
I like it, Scott. You got to stay ahead of the curve. You and I have talked about this in the past. It's the one thing that doesn't, it does and it doesn't. But everybody doesn't have to be the highest paid player in the National Football League, right? You see right now, Myles Garrett, Scott, as good as he is, what has he done for the Cleveland Browns? You just made him the highest non-player. He doesn't even want to be there. You guys suck, right? So you can sign these big-time players and give them money. Is it going to help your football team? I think the Browns would have been better off trading Myles Garrett and just rebuilding and just stockpiling picks and players and shake things up because it's not working what they do. But I love what the Bills did, Scott. You got stiff quarterbacks making $45, $50 million a year now. Right? So stay ahead of the curve. In 2 years, quarterbacks going to be making $70 million. You always stay ahead of it, like the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. Don't let the contract get into the last couple of years. Don't let it get into the last year. Keep your players happy. Stay ahead of the curve. Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills, so I don't have a problem with it, Scott. And I'll tell you what, 60, whatever it works out to, I think it's $59 million a year now, whatever. It'll be a bargain in 2 years. It's a bargain now, but dude, everybody gets paid. You know what I mean? That's just the Trevor Lawrence is making $50 million a year. So is Josh not worth 60 right now? I like the move for the Bills, Scott. The Bills, listen, man, to me, the Bills, they need to add on the defensive side of the ball, right? They score 30 points a game, bro. The Bills have never lost a playoff game because they can't score. All right, forget about the Jacksonville game 7 years ago, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The Bills' offense isn't a problem. I don't care who the wide receivers are. Josh Allen's going to move the football, right? They're going to put points up on the board. They got to get defensive backs. They got to get defensive linemen. They got to attack the defense, but there's really no one out there. It's up to the Bills. It's sort of like the Leafs, Scott, the Toronto Maple Leafs with the Bills. People, what are the Leafs going to do at the deadline? What more do you want them to do? What can they do, right? You've got Nylander. You got Tavares. You got Mitch Marner. You got Austin Matthews. Well, you want Bobby Orr? You want Bobby Orr to come out of retirement?
Is he available
at some point?
Orr?
Yeah, Paul Coffey. You know what I mean? No, but, they got to add something. It's like, listen, guys, at some point, the guys in the room got to win. It's like the Bills. At some point, the guys in the room got to win. Bruce Smith ain't walking through the door, guys, in his prime. All right? It just is what it is.
How about the Milton Williams? 1 minute you thought he was going to Carolina, and he ends up, I guess, with the Patriots, the guy from the Eagles.
The Patriots are trying to be aggressive to rebuild this thing, Scott. I'm really curious to see what the Patriots are going to do in the draft, right? There's so much talk about, it's not a great draft, but you look at the top of the board and there's some interesting options. Like if you're the Patriots, you're going to have the fourth pick, right? You could have a choice of Travis Hunter, of McMillan from Arizona, the wide receiver, of Mason Graham from Michigan. The Patriots are in a nice spot right now, Scott, moving forward. I like Drake May. I think he's a really good quarterback. They're a couple of years away still, but I think the Patriots will be open for business once again. Yeah, I wonder about Kraft, though. I think maybe Kraft's greatness as an owner was sort of bolstered by the fact he had Tom Brady.
I think everything that they had there was bolstered by Brady. Josh Sweat also got paid. He's out of Philly. He goes to Arizona on a 4-year deal. $76 million plus and $41 million guaranteed. Rosenhaus did the deal. He did a lot of deals today. What an agent he is.
Interesting. You got that Philadelphia, Arizona connection, right? The head coach of the Arizona Cardinals was the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We're going to play a little game of true or false, fantasy or reality is what we used to call it. But instead, we're going to play a little game of buy or sell. Rafael Devers had a press conference and basically said, I ain't moving off third base. I'm a third baseman. I won't play DH. I won't play anywhere else. Alex Bregman was just signed, so how's this going to work out? Buy or sell, George? Devers will start more games at third than Bregman this season. Is that a buy or sell?
Yeah, Devers is a horrific third baseman. He's bad. I think he ranks dead last in the league here. I think Coro is going to talk to Devers. Apparently, they are close. He said, listen, you got to move, buddy. I'm sorry. You got to move. We're a better team with Bregman at third.
I think he's dug in here, man. I don't know. I know that there was a report a few days ago that they were talking about it and, sort of working things out, but I think in the end, cooler heads will prevail, but I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to say that Devers starts like 90 games at third base this season. And I think that'll probably be the compromise here. I think that Bregman will start some, Devers will start some. Bregman's still a Gold Glove third baseman at this stage of his career. It doesn't really add up. The other thing that happened is over the course of Big Papi's career, he moved off first base, he went to DH, and Big Papi was Devers, right? I mean, pretty similar in stature there. But Devers just seems to be really dug in on this. I think if it was going to happen, George, we would know by now. And it hasn't. We just heard that it may. So I am going to buy. I don't think Devers plays 150 at third base or even 140 or anything like that. But I do think he plays more than Bregman at third. I think that they have a compromise when they play both.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're talking to Morency, and there's a lot of great games again in college basketball tonight and the NBA, NHL. What are you looking at in terms of betting tonight?
Scott, I've really been getting into these conference tournaments over the last couple of days. I really haven't bet too many games like in the big-time conferences. I did take your Hoosiers, actually, on Saturday. Big-time win. Wasn't pretty. But they got it done. I didn't think they were, Scott. I was getting mad, bro.
Believe me.
I went big on Indiana on Saturday, and they were down all game. I was like, this is why you're not going to make the damn tournament. You guys can't effing score. And then, boom, they just, they grinded, they found a way in. So it looks like they're getting into the tournament. Today, Scott, I'm focusing in on the Horizon League, a league that I actually do follow, too, as well. So it's not like I'm just jumping in on this. Robert Morris were favorites to come in. Last night, they were like -1. It was like -2. Last night with Robert Morris, it's up to 3.5. I was surprised the line was as low as it was, Scott. Listen, the Grizzlies of Oakland, they shot, they won the tournament last year. And it should be noted, the Horizon's one of these tournaments that the favorite generally doesn't win ever. Right? It's a weird league. It's a lot like the MAC in football. The best MAC team never wins the MAC championship, ever. It's just one of these weird deals, the way it works out. The Horizon League is very similar. Oakland shocked everybody last year and went on the run. I think it comes to an end here today, Scott. Line's getting up there. I liked it better when it was 2 than instead of 3.5. You got to win by 4 now. But I think Robert Morris will get it done. And before the tournament started, I said I thought Cleveland State were the most dangerous, sort of dark horse. They were only plus 350, Scott, to win the tournament. They were the third choice after Milwaukee and Robert Morris. Robert Morris the favorite. Then it was Milwaukee.
Right.
Not Gottlieb's Milwaukee, the other one. I know there's a bunch of
Fort Wayne and Youngstown State was like 5th.
Yeah. Youngstown State are pretty good, too. So this game's kind of a toss-up, Scott, but I think Cleveland State are going to get it done tonight. So give me Robert Morris and Cleveland State to both win their games and end up playing each other in the Horizon League championship. And as far as the West Coast Conference is concerned, Gonzaga and San Francisco, Scott, I'm going to go over to 153.5. There's going to be points in this game. It's a neutral court, but these teams play at New Orleans all the time, right? They're
Right.
used to it. So I'm expecting points. We hit the over last night. Well, we've been riding the over in this conference tournament, Scott's been pretty high scoring, right? It's not shattering. They're not getting to like 180s, but they're getting over the numbers. Like, you know what I mean? The totals are like, they're always like this. They're always 152, 155. They're generally getting there. So I'm going to go with the Dons and the Zags over the number tonight. And, dude, Pepperdine's getting 19.5, bro. It's a lot of points, man. Like, if you think about it, guys, St. Mary's, okay, if this is a regular season game and whatever, St. Mary's wants to run the score up. Number one, St. Mary's doesn't score that many points. So for them to win by 20, they're going to need to win like 70-50 or something like that. And I think the Wave,
They beat
Pepperdine,
them by 30 once and by 24 the second time. But now
that's why the spread.
That's why it's now it's a tournament game, and Pepperdine stunned everybody yesterday. They might as well cover tonight.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to win, but Scott, exactly. If you think about it, regular season's one thing, but dude, now they're basically on a collision course with Gonzaga. St. Mary's knows this, right? They get a big lead. They take the pedal off the metal late. You know what I mean? They sort of rest and, all right, we got one more game left here against Gonzaga after this. I'm not saying this is the lock of the century, but be very careful about laying 19.5 with St. Mary's tonight. It's like I said, they have another game coming up right after this, a championship game.
So
I think they could take the pedal off the metal.
You're taking both dogs with the points. The Dons.
You know what?
And they got their ass beat twice by them. Once by 11, though. And then the second time they got whacked by them by like 25 at home in San Francisco.
I don't like getting in front of Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga are better than people thought they were, Scott. But without being stated, San Francisco can play. They're a good team. San Francisco have a problem when they play elite top-tier teams. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're routinely winning like 20-plus games now, this program. Like, you know, people are like, wow, the Dons, huh? It's like, yeah, they've climbed the ladder. They're right there. But they always get pushed right back down the hill, Scott, when they play St. Mary's and Gonzaga. So, no, I'm not in love with San Francisco tonight, but I do like the over in this game.
The only they played was Clemson, and they lost to them by 15. So that number at 14 and a hook is right there. Right?
And you know what it's like, Scott. It's the last game of their careers. They're going to bring it, you know?
Right.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to SickScore.com and sign up for Sick Picks and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
the deals just keep rolling in on the free agency. I see Grady Jarrett just did a 3-year deal with the Bears, $43.5 million, $28.5 million guaranteed. It's just one deal after the next, Carver High.
It really is. It's very busy right now. And Grady Jarrett, he was just released this morning by the Falcons. So the Falcons cut him loose this morning, had been there 10 years, bunch of Pro Bowls, and he immediately finds a home in Chicago with the Bears. All right, let's try to get through as much as we can that's gone on here. We've mentioned a lot of things. I know we've talked about the quarterbacks a lot, but I don't think I really got a good feel yet for what you thought of the Steelers giving up the second and giving DK Metcalf $150 million to come be a new wide receiver in Pittsburgh.
Well, first of all, let me say this about Grady's deal. Like, I don't trust dudes after 10 years. So I think the Falcons, frankly, did the right thing, letting him go, because it's going to only get worse. After you've been in this league a decade, you are used up. Like, I'm telling you, your body, your mind, everything about it is harder after, like, you go into an 11th year. Is that what you're telling me? I don't trust dudes like that. I really don't. I firmly believe a young man's game, a violent game. It takes its toll on people. And look, I won't deny that Metcalf's been around, right, with the Seahawks. He certainly played in a ton of football games and Super Bowls, and he's a stud. I think he's more of a like an Adonis type ripped athlete than he is a big time superstar performer, right? I think he's a strong receiver who makes big catches because of his body, because he's so strong and ripped and big. Like, I think he's a problem for smaller corners. And there are a lot of small corners in the NFL. There really are. They draft these guys. They're surprisingly small. You don't have a lot of tall corners. That's why guys like T. Higgins and DK Metcalf go off. They're just too big. And I think that's why A.J. Brown does it. I think he's too big for most corners. And, like, for instance, a Chase to me and a Jefferson and guys like this are speed for me. And I think Metcalf's more of a size and ripped muscle power receiver. I think the speed guy is Pickens, and I think the badass is Metcalf. There is no denying they got better. They wanted a good receiver to go with Pickens. Well, they got him. Now, he is used. There's no doubt he's used, but he plays a lot. He's not a guy that misses a lot of games. So we'll see if that holds steady and if he can stay on the football field. Look, at worst, they got Wilson throwing to a guy that he threw to for his entire career. And then at best, and I see why Gabe is saying go with Wilson. He's done it. He knows the system, everything else. Art Smith, he knows Pickens. I don't think Pickens likes Wilson. I really don't. I think he's unhappy. He's like, this guy sucks. Which, I mean, we saw him fade like a hairdo in December. So I'm worried about him as well. But if that's what I'm stuck with as a season ticket holder of the Steelers, it is what it is. As they like to say in the south of France, I have no choice in the matter. Like, I have no say in it, no bones. No one's going to call me up at the Steelers and say, hey, Ferrall, what do you think of our quarterback situation? So it is what it is. But I think Metcalf is still a big problem for corners. I really do. And safeties. He's just too big. And I think he can make plays. So I think they got two really good receivers. What they need to do is get Pickens somehow, somebody, I think it's Tomlin, has got to get him to grow the F up. Like, grow up. This isn't, college football anymore with a bunch of cheerleaders sleeping with you. This is real. This is, paycheck football. This isn't NIL football. This is real football. This is the NFL, and I think he's acted like a tool. He's like a child. So if he would ever grow up, now look, I've always said to you on this show, he's their best player. They got to keep him. So they got to fix him. He's demented. He's like immature. He's kind of a giant PRI, you know what I mean. This guy is a pain in the ass. He needs to grow up and be a pro. Like, they've had a lot of Super Bowls there. They've won a lot of Super Bowls. You got to act like a pro. I think it bothers people the way he behaves.
It absolutely does. And Metcalf, still only 27 years old. So you got some, you still got some pretty good years coming out of DK Metcalf, hence the big $150 that he's going to be getting. With this quarterback carousel going on today, Darnold to Seattle and, of course, Justin Fields going to the Jets, that really leaves, if you think about it, the Steelers, the Giants, I guess the Vikings, because they're going to want to, I guess they're not going to think J.J. McCarthy's exactly ready to start the year. And I guess Tennessee, too. They say they want one. I think you're right in terms of the options for that. Now, Daniel Jones is allegedly getting interest from the Vikings and the Colts. The Colts want a veteran to compete with Anthony Richardson to start the year. That sounds like a good thing for Daniel Jones. Go compete with Anthony Richardson.
Either or. I think he'd fit in Indy or in Minnesota right now. And he certainly has the experience over everyone in both of those jobs, over Richardson and over J.J. McCarthy, who has yet to take a snap. He's had his knees operated on, whatever. So, Jones has played in the NFL for a while, so I don't have a problem with him getting either job. He's not getting a Giant job. We know that. So, obviously, duh. But, the Steelers don't want him.
No, Steelers don't want him either. We'll see if we get any more quarterbacks moving around today. Geno Smith to the Raiders. You and Gabe briefly talked about that. Third-round pick going back to Seattle there. So Carroll gets Geno Smith back to roll with him.
It's the same story all over again with those two.
Recycled bottled water, right?
Honestly, it's like I think it's weak. I think it's a weak decision. It's like, people do it all the time in business. They hire everyone that they know.
Yeah.
They just hire people they know, and they don't think outside the box. I think what we have here is a guy that's just like, I'm surprised it wasn't Russell Wilson. But I'm not surprised it was Geno. It was either or for me, for Carroll. Because what he does is he's just bringing in people that he knows. And that's
what he's doing. Yeah, indeed. The Rams, of course, didn't want to pay 32-year-old Cooper Kupp anymore, so instead they're going to pay 32-year-old Devontae Adams 2 years and $46 million. So you'll have Adams and Puka shells out there for Matthew Stafford next season. I think you even said this on Friday. This was the best thing this guy could have did. Get away from the Rodgers stuff. Go out to the West Coast. That's where you want to be. Just go chill and just go catch balls for Matthew Stafford. Not have to deal with being tagged with Rodgers all the time. Just get away from everybody and go play football. That's probably best for Devontae Adams.
I think it's good they got Stafford back, and I'm really sick and tired of Devontae Adams and his prima donna ass.
At least we're
and
done
his
with
tacos. I really am. Like, I don't deny that he can still play, but what a pain in the ass he is. Honestly, I'm like, we now have to have on this show a pain in the ass club. Just put him right in there, get him a parking spot, a locker, get somebody to shine their shoes and, fold their clothes and get them pressed, like at the golf club. We need to treat him like he goes to the country club because he is a pain in the ass. And don't even tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. When we come, the Patriots have done a lot of work on their defense today. That Milton Williams, who was huge for the Eagles in the Super Bowl, Landry, who played for Vrabel in Tennessee, who got released, Spillane, the corner, also as well, the kid from Detroit that they signed, Carlton Davis. Lots of rework on the Patriot defense in free agency today.
Screw up.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
One other one the Steelers got, it looks like, is Darius Slay from the Eagles. And what did you say about that, Carver High?
It just feels like something that the Steelers have done a lot recently, right? In the last 5 to 7 years. They like bringing in the corner who's kind of at the end. You know, they did that with Patrick Peterson. I've done it a couple others. I don't know. I mean, he still played well this year, but you're getting him on the downslope. Is where you're getting him, just like with Peterson. Hopefully it works out well for the Steelers moving forward.
It's all about money. He's not going to get paid that kind of money again that he got in
Cheap.
Philly. They weren't going to give it to him, so the Steelers love paying people cheap.
I was throwing out all this Patriot stuff as we were going to break. So Landry, Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Spillane, really reworking the defense, which seems like was a point of emphasis for Vrabel when he got the job there. That Milton Williams, he was a lot of people didn't know he was awesome in that Super Bowl game against the Chiefs. That's the one that kind of stands out the most to me as being someone who's in the AFC East against them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, but it sickens me. I'm not interested in their signings. I'm really not. I'm a fascist when it comes to them. Screw them.
Nobody likes them. That's for sure. The Niners are working on a deal with Joey Bosa. Of course, the Chargers let him go, and his brother's on the team, so that's how we go. He's pretty broken too. Hassan Reddick, 1-year deal in Tampa, $14 million for him. Cardinals get Josh Sweat. 4 years, $76 million. You mentioned that with Gabe. The Chiefs signed 49er tackle Jalen Moore, 2 years, $30 million. New piece on the offensive line. Texans, Braxton Berrios, 1-year deal worth $2 million. The Bears made a couple of trades for their offensive line a few weeks ago. Now they sign a center as well. Drew Dahlman, 3 years, $42 million. So the Bears invest a lot of money and assets in making sure that Caleb Williams is going to stand up and not run for his life this coming season with Ben Johnson now as the head coach.
Last week that, Tooney and all these guys are the same thing you're talking about with Slay. They're older,
right,
and they've, been there, done that, and now they're moving and getting the money, but I don't know if you're getting damaged goods.
End of the line guys is where they are. Javon Kinlaw to Washington, 3 years for $45. The Steelers also lost left tackle Dan Moore. He goes to Tennessee, 4-year deal worth $82 million. So that's a big piece on the left tackle. He got the
money, now he can enjoy losing.
That's very true. You could get paid, but sometimes you get paid and your team sucks. That's precisely what's going to happen with Dan as he heads to Tennessee. DJ Reed goes to the Lions. Of course, the Lions, like we said, lost Carlton Davis to the Patriots, so DJ Reed from the Jets goes to Detroit. Isaiah Rodgers to the Vikings. You know, the Eagles did lose a bunch of guys off that
There's
defense,
no loyalty at all. It's all about, you get that ring, it's great, and you're set, and you've got it, and no matter what, no one can ever take it from you, and then off you go to play for somebody else and a bag of money. And I don't think it's different anywhere in the NFL. Like,
no.
I mean, have you ever seen anything like it? The amount of player movement today. I mean, it's just like every single guy in the league's leaving his team. I mean,
Certainly.
it's literally, it's like an airport. There's so many people passing each other, you don't know who's who.
It certainly feels that way as we're trying to keep up with all of it
Grand
as
Central
it goes down.
Station at 5:30.
Now, we've also had in the past day and a half, 3 record-breaking deals that I have for you. Now, these were all re-signs, but still lots of money. Josh Allen, 6 years, $330 million deal, $250 million guaranteed. That's the most guaranteed money that has ever been put in a deal. It gets Allen up around the $60 million per season area. And what it also does is opens up some space the next couple of years for the Bills in terms of their cap, which, as you mentioned with Gabe, they've already started to do by signing wide receiver Josh Palmer from the Chargers today with an $18 million deal. So that's record breaker deal 1. Next, non-quarterback record breaker, Myles Garrett. Wanted out of Cleveland. Suddenly he doesn't. Maybe that's because he got $123 million guaranteed, $40 million per season, and he's the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL now. Man, he changed his tune quick, Scotty. Myles Garrett. That changed very fast.
Well, I just hope now that he can, shut up. Like, because, he complained so much and got his way. Now, is there any chance you could just shut the F up and go eat dinner and just shut up? just shut up. You're the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And then at what point are we going to start hearing you bitch again? In about 3 years? Like, you're another one. Oh, my God.
I give it 2.
Lying through his teeth. He'll never play for Cleveland again as long as he lives, and then he signs with Cleveland and stays. He just got what he wanted, the money. It's always about the money. Nothing else. Don't ever believe anyone that says, I'll never play here again. I want to be traded. Get me out of here. I hate it. It's all about money. Now he's happy all of a sudden with a dog biscuit in his mouth. Have at it. Screw them too. I hate their guts. They suck.
One more.
And he thinks he's the best player in the league too. He's demented.
He's the best. He's the best. He says he's the best. He tells you he's the best. Just ask him. He's more than willing to tell you that he's the best player in the league. And finally, another record-breaking deal.
I'll give you this. He's better than Max Crosby, and they gave that guy too much money too.
Now we also have a new highest-paid cornerback in the NFL. Carolina's J.C. Horn, 4 years, $100 million, $70 guaranteed, $25 per, makes him the highest-paid cornerback in the NFL. Congrats to J.C. Horn.
I hope he loves the Charlotte area because he's not going to win, but he'll be rich and he'll have a really nice crib. Maybe get a horse.
They are turning things around in Carolina. It's all turning around. Bryce Young's back. Everybody are adding pieces. They're going to be a team on the rise next year is what they want everybody to believe. All right, a lot of re-signs and a few other things. We'll finish the hour with those when we come back. And then we'll do College Rack next hour.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room, like you're giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. we're going to have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Speaking of old, Khalil Mack, he got another deal. Can you believe it? I mean, he's just going right back to the well.
They keep finding money for him. $18 million next year. 1-year deal to stay in Los Angeles. So congrats to Khalil Mack. Levante David keeping it alive too. 1 year, $10 million in Tampa Bay. Mike Gesicki back with the Bengals, 3 for $25. The Bills re-signed Greg Rousseau, 4 years, $80 million. Hopefully a few more sacks for Greg if he's going to get paid that kind of money. Chiefs re-signed Hollywood Brown, 1-year deal worth $11 million. Broncos re-signed DJ Jones, 3 for $39. Jake Matthews back with the Falcons, 2 for $45. Aaron Jones to the Vikings, 2 for $20. Nick Bolton back for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are another one. Unlike all these other teams, like we were talking, the Eagles lost this guy off their defense. When other teams win, they lose this guy. The Chiefs never lose anybody. They just they never lose any. And I'm not talking about the stars. Those key middle of the roster contributors, and Bolton's a little bit better than that, but he's so big. 3 minutes for 45. They never lose their guys, Kansas City. They always find a way to keep everybody in the fold.
They didn't lose the Super Bowl either. It was just a figment of your imagination.
It's a figment of my imagination. Zach Ertz back to Washington, 1-year deal. Derek Carr restructured his contract for the Saints. He's going to get his full $40 million next year and be the starter. God bless and good luck in New Orleans for the Saints this coming season. The Chiefs guard Trey Smith will sign his franchise tag, and he'll make $23.4 million on a 1-year deal. I mean, sometimes you have to just take the franchise tag. I mean, it's so much money. It's $23 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to take that franchise tag sometimes. We did have some guys get released. Von Miller, goodbye in Buffalo. That was a waste of time. Grady Jarrett, which he's already gone and signed with the Bears. And the Steelers, Larry Ogunjobi, he's out the door. He was with the Steelers for a while, right? Larry was there for a long time, and now he gets chopped.
He was worthless.
He was worthless. Patriots traded defensive tackle Devon Goodjoe to the New Orleans Saints for a 7th-round pick. He's from down there, went to LSU. Congratulations. Gets a homecoming there. I thought looked like it was going to be a bad weekend for Xavier Worthy, Chiefs wide receiver. He was arrested for an alleged domestic violence, but now, Scotty, that story has taken a turn. He's not going to be charged for anything. Apparently, there was some woman that he wanted to leave his house, and 2 months she hadn't left, and she tried to, whatever the situation was, he's not getting charged now, Xavier Worthy.
Well, it certainly was an interesting story when I saw it that he was, they arrested him for like choking her. And allegedly they said he was, on the verge of killing her. Allegedly. Like he choked her out. Like threw her out the door while he had his hands wrapped around her neck. That's what they said, right? That's what I was reading. And then like 3 hours later, he didn't do anything. I mean, that's when you know you're having a good day. You get away with choking somebody almost to death, throwing some chick around, allegedly, and then you get away with it.
Well, I don't think it was getting away with it. I don't think any of it happened. Apparently, she was, one story said that she was kind of fabricating this story because he was trying to throw her out of the house. There was some kind of a situation along that front. That only people that really know the answer are the two people that were in the room. They're the only ones who know.
I will never forget seeing the video of Diddy in the hotel with the chick trying to get on the elevator.
Yes.
This guy. All you need to know about all the charges against him for sexual assault of like 40 different people, all you need to do is watch that video to know that he's guilty. All you need to know is when he was just absolutely pummeling that chick in the hallway in his bathrobe and beating her like Ray Rice never did. Ray Rice was quarter of that. I mean, that Diddy beating was something else, like dragging her by her hair. I mean, he set the bar for that beatdown in the hallway of the hotel. Meanwhile, he's on the cameras in the hotel. We're watching the whole thing. He says, I didn't do anything. These white people are after me. They're blaming me, these whites. It's their fault. Meanwhile, he beat the crap out of her, and we all watched it. It was like made for TV, man. TMZ City. I mean, that was beautiful. You talk about getting pinched. Whoa.
Philadelphia 76ers, they tried to play two different things. They tried to play contender, and they tried to play protect Joel Embiid. It wasn't doing Joel Embiid any good. This goes back to what I've talked about numerous times on this network. Why did they let him play in the first place? Why was he on the Olympic team? I mean, we looked at it last year in the playoffs against the Knicks. The damn kid was on one leg.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.